Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the show. It is Hump Day, and it is Back to the Window with Scott and Scott, your usual 3 p.m. pals. I am pal number one. I am Scott Steen, lead handicapper at winnersandwhiners.com.
And I'm your co-host, Scott Reichel, senior handicapper over winnersandwhiners.com.
And together we do this each and every day, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Central, Monday through Friday, as Scott and I join together and do our very best to help you guys in that journey to head back to the window to cash those winning tickets. So welcome to the show, Scott. What kind of Tuesday did you have?
Overall, pretty good. Ended up winning my no-run first inning. It was even more fun when you had 6 runs in the second inning, which I like to call not my problem, because it ended up cashing in the first. Besides that, really can't complain. I still got my son's future bet. They looked really good last night, so hopefully they'll be able to close it out sooner rather than later. Besides that, overall, just a pretty good, mostly uneventful Tuesday, but I won what I bet.
Excellent. JC Stone in the house. Said an easy find today, thanks to me. Well, I appreciate it. I had to go through and change the time, so hopefully that helped out. Had a good day yesterday, Scott. I missed my play of the day. I played the first 5 under 4 in the Miami-Arizona game, a game I also liked the Nerfy, and it was a terrible play all the way around as they put up 4 runs in the first inning between the two of them, and then put up 4 more in the third to just absolutely trash that bet. So 2 pitchers that had pitched pretty well up until that point did not pitch well. Bumgarner, as veterans often do, struggled in the first and then settled down. The Miami starter, Merrill Kelly, started poorly and then went downhill from there.
Wait, who is starting for Miami?
Or sorry, that's today's. That's tomorrow.
Was it Rogers who was pitching yesterday?
Who was pitching yesterday? No, it wasn't Rogers. Who the hell?
Alcantara's pitching today.
Yeah, it's Alcantara to Kelly today. I don't have it written down.
Okay, either way.
Before. It was trying to think who the hell it was. Decent pitcher. Somebody that I liked. And now I hate them. They're dead to me.
Okay.
So other than that, we hit all the premiums. So that was a good thing, as we had.
Did basketball or baseball stuff?
I had a basketball. I had the under in the Philadelphia-Miami game. I had the over in the San Francisco-Colorado baseball game. And I had the over in the Angels game, a game that I thought we were going to take a bad beat on because it was stuck at 8 forever. And then here comes Brett Phillips, everybody. Fantastic. Thank you very much. What did he give up? 5 runs, 4 runs? What was the final on that?
I saw Rendon hit a lefty home run. I feel like that was kind of the story of the day for Tampa, except it wasn't. We'll get to that game a little bit later.
Magellan Sports, not a surprise. Magellan Sports is checking in early. Boom. Dodgers minus, was it 6.5, 7.5?
Both.
Well, yeah, I know.
I think it was 7.5 plus 650.
Yep, correct. Well done.
They won 11-1.
Nothing like hitting a 3-team parlay on a single game.
And they're also losing today, I think 3-0. So you picked really the perfect game to get the Dodgers.
Yes, we however did not.
They're tied now. Never mind.
We picked the game before.
They were down 3-0. I just saw that they scored 3 runs in the 7th with no outs. So it seems like the Dodgers are going to win the game.
The game we have them to cover, they go down 3-0, and then all of a sudden it's 6-0.
Yep.
So they did nothing. So yeah, very good. Congratulations to Magellan Sports taking the serious alternative run line there. So we want to welcome everybody aboard. We do appreciate you stopping by, especially if you're doing it live, man. That's pretty cool. We love talking to you guys in real time. Don't forget to show a little love, if you would be so kind. Smash that thumb. Let us know that you're digging what we're doing. And, of course, subscribe to the YouTube channels. It makes us look really good. Subscribe to the Winners and Whiners YouTube channel and the Max Wagers Network YouTube channel as well. And check out all the great offerings here at the Max Wagers Network. All the good folks from Picks and Parlays, plus all the good folks from Winners and Whiners, man. It's like peanut butter and jelly. There had been a better mixture since peanut butter and jelly, since Goober. We talked about that, I guess. I think that was my family and I. We talked about. Do you remember the name of the? Did you remember the name of the product, Scott? Where
I did not.
Peanut butter and jelly were mixed together. It's called Goober.
That sounds hit or miss.
No idea. It's okay. It's okay. Yesterday on the video, Scott, by the way, I was recounting how I did. Talked about the farm play. We hit it. I said, I knew we had the over in a hockey game, and it was, and I couldn't remember what the hell it was. And then I looked at the board and like, it doesn't matter what it was because they all hit.
Yeah, there's the Hurricanes one.
I know. It was rock me like the Hurricane. So a lot of great offerings here at Max Wagers Network. Check it out. Noon, Midday Money with Sean Higgs, 1 o'clock, Morning Wood with Allie Burns. Me and Chris doing parlays. Chris was on fire yesterday, by the way. Hit a 4-teamer at 12-1. Hit another premium one at 32-1.
He
Good
had a
day.
32-1 parlay.
Yeah, hit 4 teams with plus money.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. It was including a plus 175 on.
Did you tail? I'm guessing you did not tail that because it would have lost.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yep.
I've sworn off the parlays to give him a chance. I cannot. My parlay luck continues. I just don't hit fucking parlays, buddy.
But that was on the show, or that was a premium of his?
As a premium. They hit a 12-1 on the show.
That's how you know you're legit, when you're giving out 32-1 hits on premium picks. That's how you know you're doing something right.
It'll keep the hate mail down for a couple of days.
Should. People will forget in a week, but
I'll guarantee it. People will forget fucking by Wednesday. I didn't hit anything today. So
why do we listen to this guy? It's like because I hit a 32-1 shot 3 days ago. You know.
By the way, we have links to both our premium service. I'm at 8-1 over the last 3 days. Like I said, Chris is on fire.
I'm 0-0,
and Scott's still 0-0. So depending on if you like to ride the variance roller coaster, check out Chris's parlays, because you have that chance of a huge payoff. If you like a little more steady play, if you're a little more conservative, check out my plays.
And there's only one overall number that matters, or it's mostly an acronym. It's called ROI.
Yep.
That's really all that matters. Are you in the green, or are you in the black, or are you in the red? That's really it.
At the end of the week, where are you at? So, yeah, very good. And, of course, Scott and I, 3 p.m., Sean Miller doing his Soccer from Across the World show. And we'll finish it up with Detroit Lenny, Nick, and Tim Earl doing game time decision. So Brewers are like 14-1 down, or 14-1 down 4. Brewers live are 14. Heading into the
they're not gonna win. Don't bother.
I don't, at 14-1, I don't hate that. Ohtani today, 4 p.m. local time, to the Angels sweep. I know Chris liked the Angels quite a bit in that game. I was kind of on board as well. This is a Tampa Bay team that has been very streaky all season long, and they're kind of in the middle of a down streak. Logan Gilbert goes, where did I have that? It's Ohtani, and I'm trying to think who he's going up against McClanahan. Somebody who's been okay, but I'm digging that matchup. I think that's a decent price on the Angels. You?
I don't necessarily mind it. For me, Ohtani is definitely the better pitcher. McClanahan had a lot of expectations going into the season. The issue is, even when he was living up to those expectations, he's never really gone length, which has been an issue. Ohtani can. But Tampa, truth is, they've really not been playing well lately. They did win a series against Seattle. I can't say that it was a pretty one, because a couple of games were up in the air. But to look through the overall performances by this team, when you lose 3 in a row, and each of the last 2, or each of the first 2 games in the series, I should say, you've been outscored 23-3. I kind of want to pass on Tampa. I think, I'll tell you what, they're not going to get no hit again. Does that count?
Yeah, counts for something.
So I'll lean to Ohtani, because it seems like the Angels are just playing better baseball right now.
Okay, good enough. Magellan says, or King Me says, his best bets are Cardinals run line, Warriors money line. Warriors money line, yes. Cardinals run line, yeah. Okay. I still worry about this Cardinals team being able to score, but that's my only problem with them on the run line, especially since they're at home.
Baltimore's also won 3 in a row. Cardinals have lost 3 in a row.
Yep. They've scored 3 runs in 3 of their last 4. They put up 7 against Baltimore, but that was after Baltimore pretty much called off the Dogs in a game they won easily. So, okay, I'll say Godspeed to you, King Me. I like the Warriors. I like Mikolas in the matchup, in the pitching matchup.
Mikolas Ultra
over Mikolas Ultra, yeah, for the St. Louis guy.
Mm-hmm.
But Spencer Watkins
randomly been okay this season.
Yeah, he's been all right. He's, tell you what he does is he walks a shit ton of guys.
Yep.
We talked about that on an Alley show last night. He gives up 2 walks per 9, and that's not ideal at all. And he spells his name with an S, and that makes me crazy. Spencer Watkins, just not good.
Yeah.
Is tonight the night Golden State ends that series? I believe it is.
I think it should be.
GG, Memphis. GG. 4-point favorite net.
Yes, I believe it's 4, something along those lines. But for me, it's a situation where Memphis has been good without Ja this season, but both teams shot so badly last game. Golden State found a way to pull it out at the end. I gotta wonder what the psyche is of Memphis, knowing that they're not only missing their best player, but they're also down 3-1. Would it surprise me if Golden State opens up a lead and Memphis potentially rolls over? Let's just say I would not be shocked. You? At some point, you're looking at the abyss.
I go both ways on this. I think the fact they're down 3-1 is a lot more important than the fact that they're out without Ja Morant, because they have shown the ability to rally without Ja. We've talked about it incessantly, as there are 20-5 without Ja this season. However, this is the playoffs. This is a different situation, and you kind of down 3-1. You've got to have all hands on deck, especially your best hand.
And it's not even like you can pretend that if you steal one here, Ja would be back for game 6 and 7. Like, he's been ruled out already. So you're not only looking at this game without him, you're looking at the next 3 games without him. So maybe they can defend home court, maybe it provides a spark, but realistically, I'm assuming Golden State will shoot better. And Memphis offensively without Ja, really not good, because the less Ja's on the court, the more shots Dylan Brooks is taking.
Yeah, and we've seen the folly in that. Plus, the real guy that picked up the slack in this is Bane, and
he's injured.
You can't convince me Bane's over 70%, 60%.
Well, you can't bend over. His back is completely destroyed right now.
Jim brings up an excellent point, and I'm going to expand on it. He says that shadows are going to be a big factor in Anaheim today in the afternoon games, and that is always a deal. I would advise everybody out there to familiarize yourself with every MLB ballpark, or at least check it frequently until you learn the direction they're laid out. Most parks are laid out with home plate south, center field north, but there are some differences. Some teams do it completely reverse. So that's always an important factor for the wind, and it's always an important factor when you're looking at afternoon or early evening games, where if that sun is going to come across the pitcher's mound, or how it's going to go. Because if it goes from home plate to pitcher, where the pitcher is coming out of the light into the dark, that's not a good thing.
If you want to follow the shadows, it might not be a bad idea to bet on some strikeouts, because if you can't pick up the ball out of the pitcher's hand or even on the way to the plate, you're going to see a lot of missed swing attempts.
Yep, absolutely true. So always keep that in mind.
Potentially a Nerfy, if the shadows are going to be that bad early on, you might see a couple of low-scoring innings.
Nerfy first 5, something like that, depending on the start time or full game. So
yeah.
All right, let's find out what happened yesterday, man. Let's do that thing where we find out who the happy people were, who the sad people were, who took it in the shorts, and who took it to the bank. The winners, the whiners, will all be revealed on the Wednesday edition of Call the Cops. All right, very good. Very good. Let's get it rolling, shall we? And usually get this in the right spot. All right, let's start on the frozen pond, the Maple Leafs. Team total under 3.5. You're going up against the Lightning. They only had 1 goal in the first 2 periods. You had to think you were looking good. As long as they don't score 3 goals in the third period, you're golden. Scott, I can't remember. How many goals they scored in the third period?
Well, on the bright side, there was no empty netter. The negative side is that they scored 3 goals anyway.
3 goals anyway, as they took care of business against arguably one of the top 2 or 3 goalies still in the National Hockey League, Scott. Would that be out of line to say Vasilevsky is the top 2 or 3?
I think he's number 1. So, no, I that would not be out of line.
Well, apparently he didn't do well in the third period last night, as he gave up 3 goals to beat you. If you had the Maple Leafs team total under 3.5, call the cops.
Well, in his defense, Toronto was kind of all over him for the entire third period. But either way, to go through the second one, if you ended up having the under 8.5 in the Brewers and Reds game, why would you do that? But it seemed like a pretty good bet early on. You only had 4 runs through the first 7 innings. And then you had 5 runs in the 8th, and the game landed 9.
And now the one that Scott wants to talk about the most, if you had the Blue Jays on the money line going up against the Yankees, finally, they had them right where they wanted them, led 5-3 going into the bottom of the 9th. Yankees get a couple guys on. Here comes Aaron Judge. Boom. There goes Aaron Judge. 3-run walk-off home run. Blue Jays lose 6-5, and that is a kind of win and or loss that can affect a team for more than one game. That can fire up the Yankees, and it can depress the Blue Jays. How many outs were there, Scott?
1.
Did he go to right field, or did he pull it?
He pulled the hell out of it.
Okay. All right. So it was a monster shot then.
Yeah, it was crushed.
It wasn't a cheapie.
No, it was destroyed.
Sneaking over that little league ballpark right field fence there. All right. Very good. Yankees, Scott, are you convinced yet?
They're winning again today. I'll tell you what, they find ways to win games. They're still overly reliant on the home run ball, but hell, they're winning games. They have the best record in the league. So I can't really say that they have not won me over. I'm still not a big fan of the overall outfield. I know that Stan and Judge are both hitting home runs. I think Hicks is brutal, and I think Gallo's awful. But besides that, I like the rest of the team.
You're a Stanton stan?
No, I'm not a stan because he strikes out way too much and he's extremely streaky. But he has been pretty clutch throughout his career, and he did have a pretty big 3-run home run yesterday to tie the game. So I do like Stanton. I think he's good. Are they paying him too much money? Probably, but I do think he's pretty good.
Then again, it ain't your money, so what the fuck do you care?
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, what do you think? Because I feel like he's still, I'd say, a very, very solid player, but people expected him to be maybe a multi-time MVP after he won the first one with Miami.
Right.
I don't think he's that good, but I think he's definitely a great power hitter.
Hey, if he can play 140 games and hit 30 home runs, I call that a win.
Yeah, that is true.
There was some good news out there. Let's see if Magellan made the board, shall we? Let's find out who had an easy time of it. No sweat, no third period heroics, no overtime losses, just nice, easy wins. You know who you are. Now that we're all going to find out. Who are you that was sitting in the rocking chair?
So the first one was the Dodgers, -1.5 against the Pirates. They led 7-0 after 3 innings, and they won 11-1.
Congratulations for all of you that took the alternative run line there on the LA Dodgers. We talked about it a little bit earlier. We talked about it yesterday. -7.5, played +650, and they covered that easily. So, yeah, nice hit. Nice hit indeed. Hey, if you had the Red Sox Braves over 7.5, didn't have to watch much of this game. Put up 9 runs in the first 3 innings. Game landed 13. That's the very definition of rocking chair right there.
And the last one, if you had the Heat, -3 against the 76ers. They led by 12 after the first quarter, remained 12 at the half, and they won by a casual 35.
Yep, we both were on the Heat yesterday, and they came through in fine fashion, probably a little better than we anticipated. But, yeah, very, very nice win for the Heat. Sixers done?
I personally think so. They might win Game 6, but they're not winning Game 7 in Miami.
Okay. We talked about this game just a little bit. Now we're going to talk about it a little bit more and talk about the feat that was accomplished. Let's get ready to blow those trumpets, man. Get the guys out on the portico. The king is going to speak. It is time to find out. Who was it yesterday, Scott? Who was the gambling hero of the day?
You want to do the honors?
Al Hurt couldn't have done it better. Sure. This is a game that I mentioned that I had the over. And the part of the problem with having to sweat that over there a little bit was the fact that the Los Angeles Angels threw Reed Detmers out there, a guy that Chris and I talked about yesterday on the show and roasted unmercifully.
Listener of the show.
Terrible, terrible pitcher he was. And that's what we found out. Reed Detmers, big fan of the show, because he went out and he showed us a little something as he threw a no-hitter against the Tampa Bay Rays. How many did he walk, Scott? Do you know?
Was it 1? I don't know how many he walked.
1.
Okay.
1 time. And that's all he faced. Angels were -105 on the money line. As you might suspect, they won easily. As I mentioned earlier, they were up 8-0 until the Brett Phillips floodgates opened late. So Reed Detmers, you didn't do me any favors, but you had a nice appearance there. Angels mania. Do you believe in the Angels? I know Tim. Wasn't Tim on the Angels? Did we talk about this?
Yeah, I believe Tim was.
He said he was, right? You and I
Yeah.
did. We did not. We're not Angels believers. Are you a believer yet?
For me, I think that they're definitely capable of making the playoffs, but once again, Rendon, Trout, and Ohtani are all still healthy.
Right?
I'll wait and see.
That's right. We're going to be sitting here in August going, yeah, but those guys are going to fucking get hurt. You know they are.
I'm not going to wait till August. I'll wait till June, and then I'll give you usually I'll wait for like a 1 to 2 month sample size before I fully judge
Yeah, that's
if a
legit.
team's legit or not. Doesn't always work out because you see a lot of choke jobs in the second half, but I'll judge the Angels at that point.
I don't really start making any long-term predictions till Memorial Day.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'll start looking at Memorial Day and thinking, okay, well, this might be able to hold. So congratulations, Mr. Detmers, on a job well done for sure. All right, Scott. So we always kind of give hockey a little bit of a short shrift, but there are 3 hockey games tonight. Should have been 4, but the Avalanche pretty much took care of business there. So big night last night as far as overs go. How do you see it going today?
Well, I got to play the day on and over, so I do like the over in the Penguins Rangers game. Besides that, I do like Calgary tonight. It seems like they got back on track last game. Dallas offensively has really not been good at all in the series. It's just a situation of Calgary's offense being worse, but they're getting a bunch of shots on net. It's just that Ottinger has been insane in net for Dallas. I believe he had 50 saves last game in the loss.
Yeah.
So Calgary has just been peppering him with even more and more shots as the series has progressed. I think that bodes well for Calgary. So I actually don't mind Calgary in regulation tonight. I think that they will outshoot Dallas by a pretty large margin and win the game there. The Washington-Florida one, I have no idea, because Washington was 3 minutes away from being up 3-1. Then Florida pulled the goalie, scored, and then ended up having an overtime winner. But the Capitals are a veteran team. So do I think they're going to bounce back, or do I think that they're going to be a bit shell-shocked from what happened? I'm assuming they'll bounce back to some degree, but Florida's the better team. They haven't played like it in this series. Washington should probably be up 3-1. So if you want to look at the overall odds, Florida's about minus 230. Capitals plus 1.5. Worked with the Kings last night. They won the game, but it worked out.
Yep, depending on your level of risk, I don't hate the puck line. If you want to take a little more of a plunge, plus 180 is awful tempting. JR Black, caps lock stuck on, buddy. 3-team parlay: A's, reverse run line, Padres, Seattle. Want to weigh in? Let me see who we got here.
I think the only thing I'd really weigh in is that I understand they're playing against Detroit, but putting the A's in any parlay, that's a bit of a bold move. I'm rooting for you.
Bold move, Cotton. We'll see how it works out for him, huh? Is that what's that matchup? I rolled past. Oh, there it is. It's that Sloge against Wentz.
Yeah.
You know, Wentz is kind of a wild card because he started the season in Double-A, made a couple starts in Triple-A, and wasn't fantastic. Really high strikeout rate, really high walk rate. So he's kind of a checker wrecker kind of guy. And going up against Zach Loge, who's pitched well, decently this season. Yeah, I don't know. I know it's a nice sweetener there. You're getting a decent price, but I'm with you. Although the sad part is Oakland's got a better record than Detroit right now. Sorry, Lenny. Sorry, buddy.
Detroit's not too good.
I don't hate it. Yeah, I think that's all right. Thoughts on the WNBA card tonight? Like the Sky and the Sparks. You looking at WNBA yet? I have not.
Oh, I do a podcast for the WNBA. So I did not do it today, though. So I was not fully involved in today's card, but Chicago at home, I don't mind. They lost that tough game to the Sparks in overtime. Controversial foul call at the end. But still, you're looking at Candace Parker. I'm assuming that Vandersloot will play better. The Liberty won the first game against Connecticut, but they got outscored in the paint by about 30. So Candace Parker should have a pretty big game there. I don't mind the Sky. And as for the Sparks, they're taking on the Dream. The Dream won the first game. I actually had that at plus 280 against Dallas, but the Sparks are a lot better than Dallas, and the Dream are still not very good. I like the Sparks there too. I also don't mind the Storm. Of course, the Mercury is still missing Brittany Griner, who is still being detained in Russia. They still have some quality players, though. They got Tarazi, they got Tina Charles, but I think Seattle's the second best team in the league. So I'm not really going with many dogs. I like the favorites in all three games.
All right, there you go. Little bonus for you guys there. Not only do we do the Big Four, little WNBA action. as well. All right. Closing out hockey. Anything else you see there?
Not really. I feel like the overs have been the move so far in the postseason,
Yep.
except in the Calgary series. So I would potentially ride that accordingly. But I have noticed a decent prop, if you want to keep looking at them, are the shots on goal or the saves prop. Because the goalies, if shocker, if you have a decent amount of goals in a game, you tend to see a lot of shots.
Yeah. Oh,
And
hang on now.
you can look at Ottinger. I know, hot takes galore right now, but you're looking at a situation for Ottinger, who is the Dallas goalie, and I mentioned the fact that he had 50 saves last game in the loss. But if you want to look at the overall saves prop for Ottinger, it's at 29.5, which is way too low because he's at 40 plus in each of the last 2 games.
Right. You got to figure he's
So
going to face 35 plus.
just saying. So if you think even if he faces 33 shots, unless he gets torched and gives up 4, you win. So,
Hey, I want to put this up so everybody can see it because we're gonna screenshot this if it comes true. We're gonna give him the Nostradamus crown. Wishful thinking, like the horse. Nobody figured to win Kentucky Derby. New York Rangers sweep 3 in a row to defeat the Penguins.
okay.
I know that would make your roommate very happy.
Doesn't make a difference to me because as long as they keep cashing overs, I'll be a happy guy.
All right, let's move on to basketball. Bryce Multane wants to know how we like the Warriors, and we'll just segue into that right now. We talked a little bit about that earlier in the show, that we just don't see a lot out of this Memphis team without Ja Morant, and with Bane having that back injury that has him limited by, I don't know, 40%, maybe with 30 to 50% probably. He can't, as Scott mentioned, he can't bend over. Of course, that makes it tough to launch those shots, makes it tough to, okay, it's a fucking back injury. Makes it tough to do everything. Let's not
It's also
lie.
tough to chase Curry and people around the 3-point line.
Yep. Pirates take the lead. Time to bet the Dodgers live.
I bet the Dodgers the last inning, and they stranded the bases loaded.
Nicely done.
Well, Will Smith hit a line drive. It just happened to be like a jumping catch by the shortstop, which would have been 2-3 runs, and Muncy took a 3-2 pitch right down the middle.
Muncy's still hitting about $1.60.
It was 3-2 though. It was a curveball right down the middle.
I haven't seen a Dodgers game in a minute. Probably like is he still hitting like in the below 200?
I think so.
He's been dreadful.
But all I know is when you have a guy on third, 1 out with Freeman up, and the guy walks the next 2 batters, you got to assume you like your chances. And they scored no runs.
No, I get that. James S. Yo to you, James S. There you go. So the Golden State cover tonight. You hear about the 4?
I think they're going to cover.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to take Memphis in a last stand game, good on you. But I feel like the last stand game was the last game because people thought Golden State were going to kill them, and the game was actually close.
Right.
I just think Memphis laid it all on the line and they lost. I don't think they're going to bounce back. You?
Good. Yeah, I'm with you. I think the same thing. We talked about this on the earlier show that if Memphis gets punched in the mouth and gets down 10 early, do they have that extra fire? Do they have that ability to reach down deep and have somebody take over the team and bring them back? I'm not sure that person exists on this Memphis team right now.
Yeah, for me, I agree.
All right. I don't see. That's the bad part about the delay. Bryce Multane said I saw that. Rachel brutal. You know what he's talking about? You know which one he's referring to?
I'm assuming he means the line drive that was right at the guy.
Oh, okay.
For Los Angeles.
Probably right. All right. So the other game tonight is the Bucks and the Celtics. Couple of can we just say psycho teams playing here, Scott?
I can't call them psycho because they're only psycho against each other because both teams are very, very good.
Right.
So I don't know if they're psycho or these are just 2 of the best 3 teams in the league, and they're just going at it. So
are all the best? Are the 3 best teams in the East this year? Well, 3 of the 4. Phoenix is certainly in there. You can't discount Phoenix, but are the next 3 teams in the East?
I think you can make a serious argument because Golden State's a team that I don't think is very, very good. I think Golden State is definitely solid. Like, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But they're a pretty flawed team if you watch them. I know that rebounding-wise, they actually have been doing really well in this series, which has been very shocking. But besides the rebounding part, the shooting has been inconsistent for the most part. And I'm looking at who they've played. They beat Denver. I know we both didn't like Denver at all. And Memphis is a pretty decent team. I know now Ja got hurt, but Do you think the Warriors are a world beater? Because that's the reputation they get. I think they're very good, but I don't think they're amazing.
I worry about the Warriors like against that Miami defense. I just
Yeah.
don't know how much they get going against that defense. And I think Adebayo just rules the inside there.
If you're asking me which team I think is better between the Eastern Conference teams and Golden State, I would take the Eastern Conference teams.
Mhm.
Golden State still could win it all, of course, because if they just hit enough 3-pointers, they can beat anybody.
Right.
But Clay has really been underwhelming.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of it's based on the injuries and how he's not the same guy he used to be, but he's been awful in this series. He had the one really good game, which just so happened to be the same game where his team scored 142 points. So you ended up having a pretty just well-rounded offensive effort for that game 4 win, or sorry, that game 3 win. But every other game in the series, he's been awful, at least percentage-wise. So I guess my question is, can you win a championship with Jordan Poole as your second best player?
I just don't think so. I just don't think so.
And do you think Jordan Poole is the second best player? I think it's either him or Draymond.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on what you're looking for as a contribution, but as far as a scorer goes, I don't really think there's any question about it. You know, Wiggins has been underwhelming. And like you said, Clay is.
Wiggins actually been good in this series, but as a whole, he's not in my top 3 or 4.
That's what I mean. He's been decent. He's been decent in this series. I will say that. But yeah, Clay has been the disappointment so far. Of course, you never know. I mean, you know, you come back from an injury like that, it's possible that it's one of those things that just gets better every day. You know, maybe the injury continues to improve. I don't know. We'll see. So, who do you have in this one?
In the Golden State game?
No,
or in the Boston game?
In the Boston game.
I'm going to go with Boston in this one. Going into the series, I thought that Boston would win because Middleton was out, and I thought that was enough for Boston to get the job done. Big win for them, come from behind win in game 4, evened up the series. Al Horford was amazing. He had 30 points. But the concern I really have with Milwaukee, and the main thing I notice when it comes to Middleton's absence, it's the fourth quarter offensive execution for Milwaukee. In other words, somebody tell Drew Holiday to stop shooting, because Holiday has been awful in this series. I know defensively he's great. He's arguably the best perimeter defender in the league. But offensively, somebody's got to tell him he can't shoot. Like, you got to have this conversation.
Yeah, you really do. JR Black says, or David the Italian says, oh no, Bruce, I'm sorry. It says, I took the Diamondbacks on the money line. Big fan. Yep. Screwed up with the Miami's Zona game. Took his own first 5. I'm mistaken. 1. Very nice, David. Very nicely done. I'm so glad someone saw the flaw in Golden State. Yeah, I agree with you guys.
They're still a good team. I just think that we all knew during the entire season the Eastern Conference was much better than the Western Conference. Yeah. So the fact that you see the Warriors beating up on the Nuggets and the Grizzlies, and I feel like everyone thought the Grizzlies were overrated after they should have lost to Minnesota in the first round. So when they face a legitimate top 5 defense that's capable of making adjustments and doing whatever, do I think Golden State's going to immediately cruise? No, I think they're going to struggle.
Yep, agreed, my friend. I like the under. As long as they're going to keep putting point totals over 210, I'm going to keep pounding the under in this game.
Yeah, I'm not going to overreact to a 60-point fourth quarter. Or was it 70 points? There were a lot of points. Yeah, there were a lot of points in that fourth quarter. I'm not going to overreact to it. One thing I have noticed, though, if you want to take an under, would be the first half under, or like a team total under for Milwaukee. Because the third quarters for Milwaukee have been really good, but the first halves have been atrocious. So if you want to go for an under, I also don't mind a Milwaukee first half team total under, or maybe even just Celtics first half, because I'm sure you've noticed it too. Milwaukee's been really good in the third quarter, and that's where they've opened up a decent amount of leads.
Yep.
But they're usually trailing at the half.
Yeah, they have scored 50 points exactly one time in 3 games by halftime. They scored 56 in the opener, and they've been under 50 in every game since that. So that's a very solid play. Indeed. First half unders as well should cash. And that takes a lot of the uncertainty out of it if you want to play the first half under, because you're taking Milwaukee's third quarter, and then you're taking the inability of Milwaukee to stop anybody in the fourth quarter. You're taking those both out of play. So
yeah.
All right. Moving on to the diamond. It is getaway day part 1, so you got a couple of early games, of course. But what do you see that we can still play, Scott? What do you got lined up later for today?
Well, right now I'm sweating out a live bet on the Dodgers, so that's what I got going for me right now. Not ideal. As for the rest of the overall card, it seems like Miami just can't beat the Diamondbacks. I know that starts in about 2 minutes, but the Diamondbacks have kind of owned Miami up to this point,
Right.
and Alcantara never gets any run support. So that's kind of something that I've noticed as well. Do I think there's any value on Chad Kuhl first 5 against Alex Cobb?
Do you believe in the cool, man?
He's been good. 1.45 ERA. He's
Oh,
3-0.
he's been
So,
very good.
or sorry, 1.82 ERA, but still.
He's
Uh,
been would it be fair to say way better than anybody thought he would be?
yes, I would say that in the substitution between John Gray and Chad Kuhl, I did not expect Kuhl to have the massively better numbers.
No.
I thought that they would be relatively comparable. I know we're going to save a play in baseball for later. We talked about the Angels game already. Do you blindly like the under in the A's Tigers game because neither of those teams can hit right now?
I think you have to. I think you have to. We talked about this on Total Chaos. We talked about this game. These teams they can't score, man. They just they can't put the biscuit in the basket. And I know it's not a great pitching matchup for the under, but at this point, do you care?
I don't. You saw the pitching matchup in the second game of the doubleheader yesterday, and it was a no-name rookie versus Faedo. And I'm sure most people don't know who that is. And they still didn't score many runs, so I don't know if it matters.
Would it be fair to say that over-unders are down about a run per game in most cases as far as the line goes?
Are we comparing it to most seasons or the juice ball era?
The last 5 years. So the juice ball era, when most people probably were betting baseball. I know we've got some long-term bettors.
I was going to say some juice baseball odds. I would argue it's probably a run and a half, maybe even 2 runs higher. But for the average season, I think it's a run shorter.
See, you look at these games, and you look at this pitching matchup with Zach Loge against Wentz. Wentz never made a major league appearance. He's made just 2 starts at AAA, and like I said, he wasn't fantastic. Gave up a lot of walks, good strikeout percentage, but gives up a lot of walks. And then you got Loge, who's been fine this season. Again, not a lot of experience there. Number 7.5, Scott. 7.5. Now, we talked about the offenses. They ain't scoring shit. But even in the past, it's a pitcher-driven situation.
That's an 8.5 total.
8.5 all day. That's exactly what I was going to say. This is an 8.5, maybe juice to the over.
Yeah. So, based on this season, shockingly, runs are down.
So keep an eye. This is my bold prediction. Keep an eye out. If you start to see a bump in home runs, and there's going to be one coming with the weather, that's for sure. But if you see something abnormal, start jumping on overs because it means they've changed the baseball. They've reacted to the feedback and they've put the old balls back in play.
You're assuming that would be what, mid-June, maybe July?
Yeah, I think if we start going through hot weather, if we start going through May into June, and they're still not scoring any fucking runs, and people are bitching about it, I think maybe right before the All-Star break, maybe they wait till after the All-Star break to make the change. But keep an eye on that. And I'm not saying that's absolutely going to happen, but I'm saying that's a kind of a semi-bold prediction, and be ready to pounce, be ready to take advantage of it. Okay, good chat.
No, I was going to say, we already agreed on this. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very good. Arizona. David said I took Arizona first 5 money line by mistake and won. Dude, you need to make more mistaken bets. 2 of them. Bruce says Cool should get hit tonight. Well, if you look at it, fucking Cool ought to get hit every night. But for whatever reason, he's been good. Am I wrong? I want to look up something here. I thought he kind of stumbled last time. Was it last time or the start before where he wasn't fantastic?
Well, that's the thing, is that you're looking at Cool, and for the most part, he's been a guy who doesn't exactly have overwhelming stuff. So people will make contact on him. The question is, are they going to get hits or not? But the thing is, the Giants have been a team that has really been meh up to this point. I mean, they're 18-12. People thought they would probably be a little bit better at this point. But you're going through the overall results. They have won 4 in a row, all at home. Do you think they continue to mash, or do you think that Cool potentially gets back on track? Because I said first 5 because I don't trust the Rockies bullpen. But what do you think?
I'll tell you, I'm looking at Cool's record, and I did remember giving up 3 runs. It was 7 1/3. So, that was still a quality start, and he's been fantastic. He's been going deep into games. He's gone 6 or better.
I'm just not a believer that Alex Cobb should be this big of a minus.
Alex Cobb has pitched like
he's got an ERA of 4 and change.
Well, he's another guy that's been pitching better lately. Well, at least the last time out. This time before that, he was absolutely dreadful, where he gave up 5 runs in 2/3 of an inning. Luckily, only one of them was earned, but 4 hits, 3 walks in 1/3 of an inning. I get it. I get why you're fading him here. I'm backing Cool, dude. I'm
only doing first 5 though.
Okay, fair enough. And this is absolutely a situation, Bruce. Tomorrow, you can be the first one in the comment section to say, "Hey, fat man, I told you so."
I'm just looking at the value.
Okay, fair enough, and I don't doubt that. I'm not going to dispute that. Chris liked the Royals tonight. Do you see that? If it's Bubich going,
well, Matt Bush is an opener, which means you should be getting a full bullpen game for Texas. So based on that logic, I don't necessarily mind it because we know Texas bullpen is not very good. Now, it's been better than it was to start the year. I believe they had the worst bullpen ERA for the first week and a half, but that's gotten a little bit better. Both of these teams are not good. Texas is better. So let's just get that out of the way. But do I think that Texas... Do we even have a line on this game?
No, because there's still TBD for the pitcher for the Royals.
I was going to say, I can't say what I think about the game if I don't know what the line is. Like, I would make a...
It's going to be Texas minus 120.
I was going to say, I would make a case for taking a dog play. I see a line here. DraftKings has 135 on Texas with a plus 115 to Kansas City. I don't trust either pitcher, but at least I think Kansas City's bullpen is better. I think. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. But I guess between 2 bad teams, I don't mind plus money.
All right. Well, remember,
do you trust Texas with an opener being minus 135? Because I don't.
I don't trust the Royals right now. I just watched them play like shit against Baltimore. So
you shouldn't trust them any night because they're bad.
The whole this team is this. Well, the team they're playing is bad. Narrative doesn't really work for me because I've seen them lose to bad teams. So how about Boston, Atlanta? Evaldi against Ian Anderson, sitting on a park bench, eyeing little girls with bad intent. Is he? Evaldi? I know you're not generally a fan.
No, I actually like Evaldi.
Do you?
Yeah. I mean, he was on the Yankees for a year. Thought he was fine. He had Tommy John, missed about 2 years, but no, he's a pretty good pitcher.
All right.
He's got high velocity. He's pretty solid overall. Anderson's been good, but the command's a bit of a concern. He has walked a lot of batters. Boston's offense has been underachieving, but it woke up yesterday. I believe we said they scored. How many runs did they score again? 9?
Yesterday, Boston put up 9.
Yeah, I thought so. So the offense woke up a bit. I think Evaldi's a better pitcher than Anderson. I'll go with Boston.
Really? Okay.
I am. I'll take a spin with Boston just because I think the Braves, they're at home and I just think they're overvalued.
Okay. All right. Very good. Anderson's his numbers are kind of ugly, but he has been much better since opening day. He kind of got pummeled by the Reds of all people as he went just 2 2/3, gave up 5 earned, but he's been very good since then, giving up 2 or less in his last 4. But as you say, the walks have been a concern, Scott. He's walked 10 batters over his last 4 starts, and that is not ideal, especially without the corresponding strikeouts to go with it. He's got 17 strikeouts in those last 4 games. Not fantastic, but having said that, I'm just not convinced of this Boston team. I'll take the Bravos in that one.
Okay.
All right. Anything else from the world of the diamonds?
Not really. We have one thing that we're saving.
Of course. Any tennis or soccer you want to share with the kids?
All of the tennis was this morning, so no, I don't have anything to add. a great match between Dimitrov and Tsitsipas, but I don't have any actual plays at the moment.
Okay. Jim pointing out something that we have been big fans of and point out on a frequent basis, and that is the San Francisco night games because of the Marine Layer bad home run park when all the other parks have in the summer. Yep, absolutely true. We've talked about that with the Dodgers and with San Francisco and with San Diego. Obviously, it's most prominent in San Francisco because it's further north. Yeah, more of a disparity with the temperature, and it is closer to the water. But it also comes into play in San Diego and the Los Angeles Dodgers, and so keep that in mind. And Oco again in Oakland there, but that's such a horrible home run park anyway that nobody really fucking notices. But thanks, Jim. I appreciate it because we don't bring that up enough, and it's something that you definitely have to look at. You factor in, if you want to be serious about this, there's a lot of factors that have to go into it, especially in baseball where park factor comes into play so much, and the weather has probably a bigger impact in baseball than any other sport as far as the travel of the ball, unless you have extreme weather in football, with the wind or cold or whatever. But for the most part, just an average day game in baseball, you have to factor in a lot more things. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, buddy. Well, you know what? It's Wednesday. Let's get to it. Let's do our thing. Let's find out what we got cooked up here, my friends. As you put on your good hump day overalls, you get out your straw hat, you put it with a rakish angle on your head, climb aboard your John Deere, pull out those lucky keys, insert them in the ignition, fire that bad boy up, because kids, once again, it is time to bet the farm. All right, Scott, I know we had a hockey over yesterday, right?
Yes, we did. We had the Hurricanes. Yeah, we had the Hurricanes and the Bruins over 5.5, and it landed 6.
Cue the banjos! Yeah. All right, there you go. So, a victory. It's a winning streak. Scott's 1 in a row.
Yep.
Let's see if we can keep it going. What you got? What do we got? What do we got fired up for today, my friend?
So we're going to go back to the diamond, looking at a matchup between the Mets and the Nationals, and we're going to take the Mets -1.5 at -110 on Caesars. The Mets are really good on the road this season. The Mets are 12-5 straight up on the highway, while the Nationals are a pathetic 3-12 straight up at home. The Mets have also won 4 of the first 5 meetings this season. That's important because each of those 4 wins have been by at least 2 runs. And looking at the pitching matchup, you have Tyler McGill on the mound for the Mets. Road stats this season for him have been amazing. 17 innings pitched, 1.06 ERA. And Aaron Sanchez, somehow still in the league, still pitching for the Nationals. And this season, he has been awful. 13 2/3 innings pitched, 8.56 ERA. We'll take the much better team at home with the much better pitcher, only at -110 on the run line.
Very good. Big fan of that play as well. That's I think that's a great pitching matchup. That's a decent price. We'll definitely take the Mets on the run line -1.5 at -110 at our pals over there at Caesars Sportsbook. So that's going to do it for the farm, kids. It's going to do it for the show. We appreciate you stopping by. Don't forget to make a habit of it. You know what? Make a habit of it. Stop by and see us every day. Check out all the great offerings here at the Max Wagers Network, starting with all the good stuff. But you can check out me with Chris at 2 p.m. Eastern time every day. And then Scott and I will be back to do it every single day, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, as we do our very best to help you guys in that network.